This is the honest experience about what it's like being postpartum and being laid off since April, and now I'm just financially strained. My poor husband is. And I figured that this video was important to share with somebody because we're all going through so much in life and we're all so overwhelmed. So I figured there was somebody that could relate to this. If there's anything in this video that you can relate to, feel free, share, comment. I want this to be an open platform for us to have a discussion. Today kind of sucked. I've been laid off since April, and in that time frame, I was doing Instacart and DoorDash. Up until really I had the bean. But since having the new baby, I haven't been able to do Instacart or DoorDash. I mean, I did a little bit of Instacart and DoorDash, but not with him yet. And now it's like getting cold and it's rainy, so I'm like, oh, that's probably not the best idea. I've been applying for jobs since April and haven't gotten freaking anywhere with that. Today I was really upset because we had to give notice to Charlie's daycare that we'll have to pull him out because we just can't afford it. At least not right now with just one income coming in, which really makes me feel upset because he loves going to school. He loves going to daycare. He's learned so much. When we first put him in here, he was one. He had just turned a little bit after one, so he's been going here for a year. He loves it. He knows his letters. He knows counting, his shapes. And she's a great teacher, potty training wise. He's at school, he's completely potty trained. At home, it's more like he doesn't want to pee, but he'll poop all the time. So I'm just really upset about that we have to pull him out. But I don't know. I know the hard times aren't going to last forever. And whoever said that your 20s are the best, such a liar. The only part of my 20s that were great is having our kids. That part is fine, It just sucks being laid off. I got laid off in April, and it's I just wish I was still employed. I don't know how to explain it. I wish I was still employed there, but at the same time, I don't. Because even though I made great money when I was there, I was not happy. If that makes any sense. So, it kind of just, I worked a lot, and there was nowhere else for me to go. There was nowhere higher up I could go. I was already at the highest. I wasn't getting any more pay benefits or other incentives because it wasn't a typical job. So, there's that. But it's just been a hard few months. Honestly, just been a brutal, since April, it's just sucked. After I did the tax season killed me because I ended up owing the state $4,000 that I didn't have. Which usually is fine because usually I have that money, but I had so many bills at that point and it was just killing me. So there's that. I ended up owing the state $4,000, and then I owed federal $4,000. Now I owe the state $1,500 I don't have. And I've been calling my tax guy trying to get him to send me the information so I can set up a payment plan for that. So I'm frustrated about that, but today I'm just upset that we have to change his structure and his routine because we just can't afford it. And I've applied for literally thousands of jobs. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not being funny. I've applied for so many jobs, and it's just oh, nope, not interested, falls through. And I'm I know it's not I'm not qualified thing because I have over 10 years of experience in customer service, secretarial duties, executive assistant. So I know that's not the issue. So it's just aggravating. So, and it's just I'm tired of working for somebody else. I wish I could just be a full-time creator and profit. I won't say I didn't profit because last month I pulled in about $100 off of social media. Which it's not bad. It's a start, and it's if I can make 100, then I know I can make 200. If I can make 200, then I can make 300. So it's just kind of I have to be patient. Just be patient, and I know it's gonna come. It's not something that's gonna come overnight type of thing. So there's that. So if you're seeing this video and you're feeling jolly, feel free to share it with somebody. If there's anything relatable or any good advice you have for me, feel free to drop it in the thread below. It's just frustrating. Like, I just wish I could just be my goal is to be able to get monetized. I would like to be fully monetized on YouTube before the year ends. Ideally, I'd like to do that in a shorter period. But I am moving the needle, at least. I'm making progress, which is not bad. It's a good thing. It's just, I'm a very impatient person, and waiting is really hard for me. Especially when it's something I really want. Waiting is so challenging for me. So, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm trying so hard. Everyone's like, just be patient, you're doing great. And I'm like, I'm not seeing the progress. It's just not happening. So, you know, but it's gonna be okay, because I've had like points in my life where it's like, God, I don't think I'm gonna make it out of that. You know, right now it just sucks because the only thing that's really keeping me alive right now is my credit card. Thank God I have a super high maximum on one of my cards, but it's really challenging right now because I have one card that's close to maxed out. Granted, it's not that much money on that card, but still, it's enough. So I guess once I probably get another job, then I'm just going to probably get a debt reconsolidation loan and just basically pay that to pay all these cards off and, you know, be done. But honestly, that I'd probably be looking at like a $600 minimum every month. So, but either that or just pay enough on a specific card to lower the interest to make it more manageable for each month. That is probably a better idea. Because I have some cards where the minimum is, like, not anything. It's like, you know, it's cheaper, a lot cheaper. So, I don't know, we're going to take Dupe out of school. It's not going to be permanent. So, it's not going to be permanent. It's just going to be for a time period until we can get more income coming in and more finances secured. And I thought about putting the Bean in daycare once I get a new job, but the price of that is wicked. So I've been trying to get a virtual job from home as well to see if that would cut back on expenses as well and not having to drive Charlie to school for at least a little while. But our daycare teacher is super nice. She is like fantastic. And I just, it's hard. It just, when you're accustomed to certain things, it's so hard to change. It's so challenging. And I just feel bad because I know he is going to be a little, you know, upset. And I'm not coming to teacher's house anymore. What do you mean? Makes you feel like a little bit of a failure. But it is what it is. All I can do is keep on pushing. It's not the end of the world. It's going to be all right. It just got to keep riding the wave out, and something great is going to come out of this. Whether that's me getting a fantastic job or a fantastic opportunity, something good's coming. I mean, because even when I got laid off, I was so happy. Everyone was like, what? Like, because like I was stuck. I just felt stuck. I didn't want to quit because I was pregnant and I didn't want to start a new job. And then I knew I wasn't going to be eligible for maternity leave anyway, just in general, before I even knew I was going to be laid off. Are you going to burp? You're like sleeping, but I thought you might have a burp in there because you just had like 3 ounces of milk. But I don't know. I remember the day, because the day my boss called me, I knew just by the sound of his voice. I was like, oh, he's coming to this office to lay one of us off. And my coworker was like, no, he's not. And I said, I packed my stuff up. And I said, so when he comes in this office and he says, I have to let you go, do you think my face is going to be, oh my God, no. And I remember that day because it rained so hard that day and had so much stuff. I had so much stuff in my vehicle that day because I was there for 2 years with little Charlie, which was a great opportunity. Or 1 year and a half, no, 2 years. I was there for 2 years. So Charlie started daycare when he was 2, so he's been here a year because on October 10th he'll be 3. So he's been at daycare for a whole year, and he has learned so much. It's an opportunity to be able to take him to school, because I know that not everybody can afford to take their their kid to school in general, you know, at daycare and pre-K and stuff like that, just because of the rising cost of daycare and the rising cost of everything else. Like, I went to the grocery store yesterday and I got 8 items of things, and I spent $65, you know, and it's like, oh, well, that was $65 I didn't have, you know, that's on my card. So my goal is to just keep pushing, keep applying for jobs, so that I can get him back in school so he's not missing anything. Learning wise, because he's doing so good. I don't want him to regress with all of the learning that he's done. So it's going to be a hard adjustment with both babies at the same time, but I mean, I did it with him, and I've held a full-time job and took him to work and managed all that, so there's no reason why I can't manage both of them and getting a job. Or I do have some entrepreneur ventures. I did start my Printify store. So I have some designs that will be going live soon, especially the Halloween ones. So hopefully I'll be able to at least make a profit off of that, even if it's just $200 a month, $100, $50. I got to start somewhere. Not be afraid to put myself out there. Not be afraid to, like, even just posting this video, not be afraid to be vulnerable and show, like, yes, I am always a super, usually very happy, like, thank you for that burp. Usually a very, like, super happy, go lucky type of person, and just say it's water under the bridge type of stuff. But I'm proud of myself for at least showing more vulnerable side of, like, okay, yeah, everything isn't really peaches and rainbows, but your girl is trying so hard with how overwhelming life is right now. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing, keep on posting my videos, because if I want to get monetized on YouTube, and I am moving the needle a lot faster than I thought, I just have to keep posting. Because you never know, it could be that I could be one video away from having a video that goes viral. Heck, for all I know, this video right here could go viral, and someone could be like, wow, look at this mom. She's a younger mom. I'll be 25 this year, guys. I call myself old. I always say I'm so old. I'm like, oh, I'm so old. In all reality, I'm not. I'm not old. And then, like, reflecting back when I was, like, in my early teens, like 17, 18, 19, 20, and, like, from 17, I would say, to 22, just reflecting back on those years, gosh, I used to think I was broke. I was like, oh, I'm so broke, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, you haven't experienced broke until you got into your 20s, and you're trying to buy a house, but you can't afford a house because the house that you're looking at, even a house that still needs work, the mortgage is still, like, $2,000 a month, $3,000 practically. And it's like, oh, FSA, it's like, we looked at first-time home buyers loans, and it's just like you still have to have a down payment of like $12,000. Well, not a down payment, but closing costs of like at least $12,000. So it's like, gosh, it's like I wish I could just skip this really challenging part of life, you know? I wish I could, but I can't. And that's fine. I mean, obviously, time is flying, and to me, it feels like an eternity of being broke. We'll get past it, and then I'll look back at this video and be like, oh my gosh, this was you a year ago. You had just had a baby. You were literally living credit card to credit card. You were applying for jobs every single day, and those aren't working out, so you started pushing your entrepreneur ventures and content creation a lot more seriously. So I do appreciate at least this opportunity to be able to grow my following, because I am seeing growth on my social media platforms, but I have to remind myself it's not something that happens instantaneously. It takes time, it takes consistency, it takes reaching out to people and getting connections to the right things, reaching out to the right people. But it'll be all right. It will be okay. I'm always the one that sees the positives, not the negatives. So, there's that. But if this is relatable, or, this is an open conversation in general about how hard life is right now and overwhelming. But I know that there is going to be something better that's going to come out of this. Like, I'm not being tested and pushed to the limit just for fun. I know that something great's going to come out of this, a better opportunity, something is going to come out of this. And I'm trying my absolute hardest to get monetized before Christmas. That's my goal. And the only way to do that is to keep posting content and stick to a schedule of posting longer form content too, because I've been doing really good with my shorts and posting regularly on all of my platforms, not just YouTube. But, you know, it'll be all right. I appreciate you guys. I know this is a longer video. It's hard. It's really, really hard. Being in your 20s. Well, late 20s. Oh, late 20s? Early 20s? 25 is that. Like right on the cusp. You're right on the cusp of creeping into your late 20s. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to stay positive and it'll be okay. So anybody else that's out there and your life is overwhelming and it feels like it's kicking your butt, keep on pushing. Don't give up. Don't stop. Because the minute we stop and we let our foot off the gas is the second that, like, oh shoot, you miss a amazing opportunity. Like, and it's just like, what? And I have a opportunity right now. Well, I have 2 opportunities that I'm kind of just sitting on waiting. I'm like, is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Is it? You know, but I know I'm destined for something better, and entrepreneurial ventures and content creation is what your girl is pushing for, because that's what I want. That's what makes me happy. That's what's fun. So, like I said, all the love and support, I'm sending it your way. If you had any moments to this video that were like relatable and you're like, oh my gosh, or you got like a story that might, I don't know, inspire me or inspire somebody else that's going through a tough time, feel free to share it. It's an open platform here. It's a safe space. But I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And your girl feels so much better. I guess it feels better to be able to be like, you know what, I feel a little bit like a failure because I took my kid out of school because I just can't afford it. But it's not really being a failure. It's just accepting that, hey, right now things are a little bit tough, but we're going to regroup, reorganize, think of a different strategy plan, and go back to the drawing board. And then this opportunity of being able to put you back in school, it's going to come back. It is. I know it's not just going to be like, oh my gosh. I guess I have to be appreciative with the time I have with both of my kids together during this time period. I keep reminding myself that even though for me, my situation is really challenging right now and it feels like everything is just falling apart, I have to remind myself to be grateful for what I have, grateful for the opportunity that I woke up today, that I'm not in the negatives in my bank account, I'm not bankrupt, I'm not homeless, I have healthy children, a husband, good marriage, still have a home to, you know, lay my head on. So, it'll be alright. I just know it will.